Good afternoon. Happy Friday. My name's Caitlin, Customer Success Manager here at SONAR, and welcome back to With SONAR. This webinar is designed to help explore tools and use cases to enhance your overall SONAR experience. And last week, we went over our sales guide tool, which is designed to help you target freight in this tough market. And today, I'm going to focus on the third piece of our Broker Toolkit, which is our national and market insights. These tools were designed to help keep you up to date on market conditions to get ahead of market shifts and make informed decisions. So I will share my screen with you. Bear with me. All righty. So I'm going to start off with our Truckload National Insights. This is going to allow you to get real-time insights into the truckload market all in one place. So this is a great first look in the morning to see if there's been any significant shifts take place overnight. And you can also break this down to van and reefer if you're just focused on one mode and not the other. So our idea was to have one place that you can reference for truckload market conditions without having to build out those custom pages. So across the top here, you can see capacity. So this is looking at our tender rejections, the current value, and how they fluctuated. We're also going to give you the demand piece. So looking at our tender volume and current value, and again, how that's fluctuated, and then current fuel on a national average. So really all pieces of the puzzle across the top there. We also have a few sentences breaking down these market conditions. So if you're like, great, well, what does 6% mean? You can read these few sentences and help educate yourself for what the data is interpreting. We're also going to give you current spot rates. So we'll give you the current value as of yesterday, and then how that's changed month over month. So you can see overall our national spot rates for dry van increasing, decreasing, any major shifts that I need to be aware of. We'll also show you those contract rates and the 52-week look back. Obviously, those contract rates are not moving as frequently. So we'll give you the current value and then the average, high, and low in the last year. So you can see if contract rates are higher than normal, right in the middle, or if they're trending lower, just to help you be aware of all things pricing. On the right here, we have our weekly top moving markets. So this is going to call out any markets that have had a significant increase or decrease in truckload volume in the last week. So this is great for seeing if any markets that you're currently operating in, or maybe you have available shipments on your board, are having any significant increases or decreases. Also, if you're looking for some new markets to target, then you can see, oh, Detroit is having an increase in volume. I wonder if I can get any additional volume out of this market, maybe reaching out to some automotive shippers to see if they need help getting freight out. So that's some more market specific insights. Below that, we're going to have our tender rejections again. So tender rejections are going to be in blue, and then the white line is going to be those national spot rates for dry van shipments. So you can see here, as those rejections increase and decrease, we're seeing those spot rates following suit. So spot rates or rejections are going to be a leading indicator for those spot rates, and this chart is a good view to see, are rates going back down? Are they jumping up? What can I expect in the near future? And then lastly, we have this map to the left measuring those spot rate changes over the last 4 days. It is going to be the last 4 days, but it's updated on a daily basis so you can see any significant shifts in the spot market. Blue is going to be where more outbound rates are increasing, and red is going to be where those rates are decreasing. So if you have any available freight out of these markets, you can see what to expect from a cost perspective. Or if you just know that you operate out of a lot of markets and you want to see how rates are trending, you can view that here. You can hover over and get some more insights as well. You can also click on the drop down if you'd prefer to look at rejections, volume, head haul in your main screen as well. Now, if you want to get some more market specific insights, so let's say you are having a really hard time out of Detroit, or maybe you want to prospect out of Detroit. You can click on the table or you can click within the map on a market that you want to dive deeper in. And then you're going to get your market specific capacity conditions for all 135 markets. So, as I said, great to get more of those market specific insights and educate yourself on a market level. So, you can also type in a market if you don't see one on the map or within the table. We'll give you a brief sentence outlining those market conditions. We'll also break down current tender rejection rate for that market specifically and what that means based off the percentage. We'll also tell you how that's fluctuated in the last week, 3 months, and year over year, so you can see if there's any significant shifts affecting that market specifically. With tender rejections, think of this as current state for capacity conditions in the market. This key market trend is looking at the weighted rejection index. So this is going to tell you how is that market moving in the near term. So for Detroit specifically, it is continuing to loosen. And then we're going to tell you how spot rates are trending for this market as well. So they're strongly decreasing and dropping, which is right in line with capacity being loose and continuing to loosen. We see those rates drop down. The chart below that is going to show you tender rejections for Detroit specifically, as well as the national level. Now, when we're looking at tender rejections for a market specific, it's great to compare those to the national average. So you kind of have a baseline for what to compare it to, because if you're seeing that Detroit is at 1% currently, which is extremely low. Okay, but what is the national at? So national rejections are going to be at 5.9%. So Detroit is fairly loose compared to the national average. So less competitive when you're trying to cover freight out of this market. Capacity is very loose, and in turn, your spot rates are going to be lower. Whereas if you had a market with rejections that were over this line, you would have a tighter market than the national average, and it would be more difficult to get freight covered as well as have those more elevated spot rates. So, good to just see where the market stacks up compared to other markets on a national level. We will also give you a breakdown of the volume piece. So, our volume is an index number. So, really, we're just looking at those trends and year over year changes. So we'll give you the current value, and then we have that 52-week high and low as well. So you can see if volume is currently trending closer to the average for this market. Is it a little more elevated? Is it dropping below the average? Just to see if there's any opportunities or any fluctuations with overall volume in this market. We'll break down the weekly and monthly change as well, so you can see the shifts there also. We will also tell you if it is a more outbound heavy, inbound heavy, or more neutral, so you can see is this more of a head haul lane, a back haul lane, and know how that's going to affect your price and capacity. And then lastly, we're going to rank those markets on an outbound and inbound perspective to see how they rank compared to all markets within the US, and also know how that's going to affect your capacity and pricing. If it's a more desirable market from an outbound to an inbound perspective, then you can factor that in to your pricing and capacity as well. Now, I know this is a lot of information, and if you ever wish that you could have this explained to you by your customer success manager or one of our market experts, but you don't have time to schedule a call per se, we've now added an AI analysis button. And this is going to give you AI-powered summaries for market shifts, demand drivers, and actual strategies based off your business type. So you can select from the drop-down. I'm going to do broker because that's always near and dear to my heart. And at first, we'll give you a short user-specific paragraph summarizing current market conditions and any notable changes. But you can also expand this and get a more in-depth overview of those market conditions, any notable changes, and then actual insights tailored to your role. So this is really helping you understand the why behind the data and then what you need to do next based on those conditions. So within these two tools, you can really get educated from a national level to a market perspective to make sure you're set up for success in this challenging market. As always, this is currently available within your Sonar subscription. If you have any questions, please reach out to cs@gosonar.com or your account manager. We would be happy to discuss this with you further. And I hope you enjoyed this episode of With Sonar and found it helpful. If you have any requests for future episodes and what you'd like to see covered, please leave them in the comments below. And thanks for hanging out with me again. And I hope you have a great weekend. Thank you.